Hello, my name is Roberto from Ayurvology, and today I want to talk about diabetes type 2. So, 9% of the world population is affected by this deadly disease. It's very serious, and some of the side effects include excessive urination, fatigue, tiredness, excessive thirst, pain in the joints. In the long term, it could cause liver damage, it could cause kidney damage, and you could even lose a limb. So diabetes is a very serious disease that needs to be taken care of, okay? There are 4 forms of diabetes, okay? The most common one is diabetes type 2, the one I'm going to talk about, but there's also diabetes type 1, and this is when the pancreas is damaged. They say it's an autoimmune disease when the immune system starts attacking the cells of your pancreas, affecting the insulin, hormone insulin, which I'm gonna go over a little more, okay? Then you got diabetes type 2. That's when the insulin is being released. You got healthy insulin, but it doesn't open up the cell, the fat cell, the muscle cell, and the glucose can't go inside the cell. This is diabetes type 2, which I'll go over a little more in detail. Then you got drug-induced diabetes. Sometimes you take a pharmaceutical that one of the side effects is an increased blood sugar. So just by stopping the medication, the blood sugar will come back to normal. And then the 4th one is called gestational diabetes. And this usually happens in your 3rd trimester of pregnancy. And sometimes due to excess hormones, the blood sugar goes up a little bit. But it usually goes away after your pregnancy, okay? So let's talk about diabetes type 2. And I'm going to show you a little diagram, and I'm going to show you how it works. So like I was saying before, the pancreas, it has to do with glucose homeostasis. Whenever there's too much sugar in the blood, the beta cells release this hormone called insulin. And what insulin does, it opens up, is like a key. It opens up the fat cell, the muscle cell, and it brings the glucose inside. So it gets rid of the excess sugar in the blood, bringing it to the cells or the muscle cells where they should go for later usage for energy, okay? Now, when there's too little blood sugar, what happens is the alpha cells release this hormone called glucagon, and it stimulates the liver to release glucose into the bloodstream, causing homeostasis, okay? So that's what the endocrine part of the pancreas does, glucose homeostasis. And then finally we got the second function of the pancreas is called the exocrine part, and it releases 3 different enzymes which helps finalize the digestion of fats, starches, and protein in the intestines. It's like the big gun. It finishes off the digestion so it could be absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay, so the pancreas does those 2 parts. So as you see here, whenever there's excess sugar, what happens in diabetes, the insulin, there is fat around the cell. And what happens is the insulin cannot open up the cell for the glucose to go in. So then what happens is you have excess sugar, it doesn't go inside the cell, and it circulates throughout the body. This is very damaging because if the cell doesn't have any sugar, doesn't have energy, it starts dying off. You become fatigued, you become thirsty, you become dehydrated. And when you have excess sugar in the blood, it could cause hardening of the arteries and damage to your organs. So this problem has to be fixed. And diabetes type 2, I'll show you easy ways to fix it. The only thing, it takes patience, perseverance, and discipline. But you could do it. You don't have to go on the pharmaceutical way. There are natural ways for you to take care of this diabetes, okay? So I'm going to go over them right now. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the diet, okay? In Ayurveda, we have 3 different body types. And when we're talking about diabetes, it's usually that you have excess fat. So we want to lose weight. We want to lose the fat around the cells, especially around our belly. There's many studies showing that when you have belly fat, this is one of the main causes of insulin resistance. Okay, so we want to go on a kapha reducing diet. Kapha reducing diet, it means more greens, organic greens. That means a lot of bitters like dandelion, spinach, kale. Okay, a lot of bitters. We want less starches, and in the beginning you could even eliminate all starches. They're actually non-essential. You don't need starches in your diet, and this includes white potatoes, pasta, bread, rice, anything like that. Anything that is white in process, like flour, white flour, cakes, cookies, anything that adds extra sugar definitely needs to be eliminated when you're talking about diabetes type 2. Okay, one of the only sugars that you can have is coconut sugar. That actually is not bad for you. It's actually good. So we got more bitters, less fats, less of the bad fats, because we still want good fats, and the good fats include ghee, olive oil, and coconut oil. Okay, another thing that we want to get rid of is the fruits that are high in sugar, like bananas, dates, and figs. Okay, so remember, more greens, organic, no starches in the beginning, good fats, good quality fats, and good fruits. Like you want like the berries, the ones that have a lot of circulation. Anything that is red color, purple color, brings a lot of good circulation, and they don't have a lot of sugar content, you know. So as far as vitamins are concerned, here are a few vitamins that I'm going to talk about. The first one is called chromium picolinate. This helps the fat metabolism and the sugar metabolism in your cells, and it also helps you lose weight. The next one, magnesium. Magnesium relaxes every cell in your body. So what happens is when your cells are relaxed, they're able to absorb the glucose a lot easier. Okay, and then you got zinc. Zinc is especially good for diabetes type 1 because it regenerates the beta cells, and it helps protect the damaged cells already. Okay, so zinc is very important, especially in diabetes type 1. Now, some of the spices that we could use, we have cinnamon, we have fenugreek, which contains a compound called trigonelline. Trigonelline helps with the sugar metabolism, and that same compound is in oatmeal as well. That's why they recommend oatmeal when you have diabetes or high cholesterol. Okay, you got ginger, which is an exceptional digestive enzyme. Turmeric, if you have excess acid, excess inflammation, turmeric is awesome. And then finally, Celtic sea salt. Celtic sea salt, it's very similar to Himalayan salt, but it contains 3 extra magnesium molecules which help absorb the sugar a lot better. It helps absorb all of the nutrients better into the cell. So Celtic sea salt, it's amazing. Okay, now some of the herbs that I use, gentian. You want to use bitter herbs, bitter and pungent herbs. Gentian is super bitter. Is one of the most bitter herbs around, and what it does is stimulates the digestive enzymes. Most of the bitters stimulates the liver enzymes and the digestive enzymes, which is very much needed in diabetes, especially for the absorption of fat and sugar. And then we got barberry, which contains berberine. Also, golden seal contains the same one, and this also helps with the absorption. Shilajit is a pitch. It comes from the Himalayan mountains, and it's this sap that oozes out of the mountains, and it contains over 85 trace minerals, and it contains this acid called fulvic acid. This is the acid that helps open up the cells and receive the nutrition. So sometimes when you make a formula with herbs, when you add shilajit, it aids in the absorption of the other herbs. Okay, so shilajit is important. We got Sardanica, also known as Gymnema sylvestre, and this is the #1 Ayurvedic herb for diabetes. And what it does is decreases the absorption of sugar in the small intestines. So in that way, you don't have excess sugar going into the bloodstream. Sardinica, and it also protects the beta cells in the pancreas, okay? And then we got oat straw, and then finally, dandelion root. Dandelion root oxygenates the blood. It's excellent for the liver, for the pancreas, and the spleen, which is important for diabetes type 2. So there you go. I talked a little bit about the vitamins, about the herbs, about the nutrition, and I always tell people there's 5 essentials to good health. This includes with diabetes, and this is drinking enough water, exercise at least 3 times a week, proper nutrition, sleep, and going out in the sun at least 15 minutes a day. This will help your vitamin D absorption, and